I'd like to welcome everybody to Major Music TV. It's your boy D Dot coming at y'all with another video for this week. This week we're going to actually talk a little bit about the Uno drum synth from Multimedia. I know it's something that's been out for quite some time, but a lot of people see me using it with my MPC and they've been having questions on it. And as a user myself, as I said, I've been using it for about the last year or so, and I get on YouTube and I don't see many videos about the Uno drum synth. This is actually not necessarily designed to be a review, just more so kind of my own overview and things from my perspective as far as it goes with the Uno drum synth. Real quick, if this is your first time here, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Let me know you were here. Also leave a like before you leave, as well as a comment if you can. It does help this channel grow, and I want to continue to bring you guys a lot of content on anything that you see me using. I always like to say, if there is something, whether it's a beat making video, I know a lot of you guys also follow me on social media like Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, and you see me doing a lot of videos on there. If you see something on there and you have a question about it, just let me know. I'm always open to coming up with some new topics for videos. It helps me kind of, because I know like a lot of people may think of some different things, as far as what they want to get more insight, or I'm not really big on tutorials. I might do them every now and then, but I'm more so like to do videos like this where it's an overview about the product, and I'll be happy to answer any questions as far as if there's any question about the gear that I'm using. So go ahead and leave a comment. Now the Uno drum synth, let's talk a little bit about that. The Uno drum synth runs $249. You could actually purchase it either on Multimedia's website or anywhere you can get music gear from. Personally, it's actually my first standalone hardware drum synth. I've never had a drum machine before that was hardware. Always did everything in a box. And one of the reasons, like if you go back to my MPC video, if you guys ever saw my MPC video that I did, is one of the reasons that I got it was I'm kind of at a point right now where I'm getting more into hardware, and I wanted to create a DAW-less setup, and the Uno drum synth was kind of something I had before I got my MPC. As I said, I've been using it for about a year, but when the MPC was coming out, as I said on a lot of the other videos, I'm a previous like MPC 2000 XL user, and I had to end up selling it years ago to buy another computer. So when I saw the MPC 1, it was kind of at the price point that was really good for me personally, and the fact that you can get into the MPC line without having to spend over $1,000, that was very enticing to me personally. And I liked everything else that it had to offer, the ability to use the SD card or the USB flash drive, and, or plug and play your synthesizer via USB. It just makes it a lot simpler. Now, as far as using the Uno drum with a DAW, I do that as well. My one complaint about using the Uno drum synth with a computer inside of a DAW is not necessarily how it functions with the DAW per se. It's more about, it creates a lot of noise. There's a loud hum in the background when you have it plugged up via USB to your computer. And I looked in the forums, and a lot of people are having the same issue. Now, some people have gotten around that with a USB isolator, which will get rid of a lot of that noise. I haven't personally tried it yet. Now, when I plug it into my MPC, I still notice some of that noise, but not to the degree that I notice it when I have it plugged into my computer through USB. Now, I've made songs using the Uno drum synth as well. Now, the good part about it is if you can get past the hum does not get into your music, so I wouldn't worry too much there. But it can get annoying if you're sensitive to that type of thing over a long period of time. You can also connect the Uno drum synth to your MPC or any like hardware sequencer, or even using it inside of a DAW with standard MIDI directly to from your MIDI interface directly to the computer, with a traditional MIDI cable. Kind of like this. This is actually one of the adapters that come with the Uno synth and the Uno drum synth. I'm gonna actually do a video on the Uno synth separately from this, so if you have any questions, stay tuned for that. That will come as well. And as I said before, I wanted to do something along the lines of this. This is not necessarily meant to be a tutorial, but more so an overview, because I haven't seen a lot of Uno drum related videos on YouTube outside of maybe the ones that IK Multimedia did. And I've seen a few people here and there that did it, but I just want to provide videos where there's a little bit of opportunity to have more of those on YouTube. And let's go ahead and take a closer look. Alright, so I have the Uno drum synth turned around here. And as you can kind of see, starting from left to right, you can see on the top left corner there is the on off switch, and has a option for depending if you want to use batteries or if you're using USB power. Right here is going to be the micro USB slot, and you have your MIDI in and MIDI out. Now here you also have your MIDI in and out, and that cable that I was showing earlier, so we'll just plug in right here, and there goes your MIDI out or MIDI in, just depending on like if you want to connect this to a audio interface or not, or if you want to, like for example, if I wanted to run this directly to my MPC1 through MIDI, traditional MIDI, I can do that as well. Which leads to the next portion of this, which is your audio in and out. Now what I also like to do is I'll run like the Uno drum through the Uno synth directly to the MPC, and I'll record that way as well. Now here I have the Uno drum plug-in, which you can not only pull up in any DAW, but also you can use in standalone mode. I did also want to say this about the Uno drum program editor. You can actually, on the iPad, there is the Uno drum editor, which you can download an app for. However, it's a little bit different than what you're going to get on the computer versus the iPad from this standpoint. You cannot use the Uno drum editor inside of a app. So like for example, how you can use audio units in Beatmaker, or you can use an audio unit inside of Cubase's, or any digital audio workstation on the iPad. It won't allow you to use that as a it won't allow you to use that as a audio unit plug-in in those apps. It won't even allow you to do inter-app audio. If you're watching this IK Multimedia, that may be something you guys want to look into, the ability to use the Uno drum editor as a plug-in inside of like Beatmaker or Cubase's. I know I would use it personally. I was talking about all the noise that you hear whenever you turn on the Uno synth earlier. So as I turn it on, you can hear now, you may hear a little bit of static in the background. There you go. So you can hear that right there. Alright, so in order to show you this, I'll probably turn my volume on my speakers up and down as we go through this overview. As you can see here, you got all your drum sounds laid out, your toms here, your rim shot here, your cowbell, ride, cymbals, claps, open and close hi-hats. You got one snare right here, then you got your two kicks. So I'm gonna turn this up again. I could use this if I want to as a step sequencer, because as you can see, you got your different steps here, and now as we look over also, we look at some of the different knobs up here and just navigation of this. So like, see, if I have snap, if I have a clap, now here you have sound and here you have kit. So right now I want to stick to sound. So let's say if I want to change out just this singular sound. So I'll just go up here where the data knob is and I'll just turn it. And that's really going to be for any instrument if I go in the kicks. And if you're in standalone mode as well, here's your tempo, and you got your volume here. So now as we go to some of the knobs on the opposite side, you got your decay. You got your snap. You got tune. You got level, which is kind of like individual volume. And then as we go along, you got your effects row right here, which you got some compression. You got the drive here. Now the drive kind of gives it a little bit more punch, I guess you could say. Like for example, if you've used GarageBand and on iPad, if you use GarageBand on iPad, you notice like in the top left corner kind of, when you're inside of the acoustic drum section, you'll notice a drive knob in there as well. Think of it that way. You have a stutter effect right here, which if you're using like step sequencing in standalone mode is probably a really good effect. That ironically is also something that you can kind of do in GarageBand, and then you can increase or decrease the overall amount of effects of your drums in this section. Then we got our sequencing controls here. You got your swing mode. You got the vision. Humanize kind of gives it that humanized element. It's also very similar to like the chants section inside of GarageBand, where, you know, imagine if you have a live drummer, for example, and that drummer's not gonna always hit everything on time, or they may even miss a note one time around, but they may come around the next time and catch that note. So it just kind of gives you an element like that, for example. And then velocity. I talked about that first sound button earlier. Now that's to change an individual sound. But if I go here to where it says kit, now I can change this whole kit around. Yeah, now the noise is not too bad on the MPC, but it still is noticeable. But as you can see here, a lot of the controls are user friendly on here. A lot of the navigation is user friendly. Now things like if you had it connected to your, you can use this, you can control this, for example, from your favorite DAW or from a standalone hardware sequencer like the MPC-1. Now you're gonna have some other things here, like the Alt button is kind of like your secondary button. For example, like all my MPC users think of it as your shift button. How like right here, for example, you have symbol and then you got sync, and that sync is actually stands for MIDI sync. So if I want to sync this MIDI clock out to my MPC or maybe to Logic or Machine, I can and now even that one, that was the last sound that I hit, and now this one's lit up orange, just like the Alt button is lit up orange. Now if I go ahead and hit it, now notice that went away. So, and then the length, all this is just talking about the length of your sequence. So, you know, right now this sequence would be like 16 steps. This is a 16-step sequence. But you know, if you want to go like 16, if you want to go 32, if you want to go 64, you can actually do that by pressing the length button. Then that'll increase it. Of course, maybe if you're using the step sequencer, because you could set up a step sequence inside of here, and then like if I want to record it into the MPC or I want to record it into Logic, I can do that as well. That's pretty much all I have for right now. One other thing, in case you guys were wondering, I'm gonna just take this and unplug it real quick and then just turn this over, and this will be the battery slot right here, 4 AA's that will last you about a 2-hour, maybe a little longer, 2-3 hour time limit. I have some rechargeable batteries that I use with this, as well as the standalone Uno synthesizer. Now that's actually, if you don't like the noise that you just heard in the video, you can actually use batteries if you want to power up the Uno drum synth. You can use batteries, and then from there you would have to plug it up through standard MIDI to your audio interface, and you won't have any noise that way. Of course, running your audio cable out, you're going to need one of these as well for your audio interface, as to where the back side of it is going to plug directly into the Uno drum synth or the Uno standalone synth, and the other end, of course, as I was saying earlier, will go into your audio interface. Alright, that's gonna be it. I didn't want to make this too long and drawn out. I just wanted to, as I said earlier, do a overview of the Uno drum synth. I get a lot of questions on it. If you have any more questions, any more comments about it, please leave a comment below. Follow me on Instagram at d._majormusic. You can follow me on Twitter at d.81. And also, if you are watching this on YouTube, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Let me know you were here. I do appreciate you guys watching these videos and giving me the feedback to make these videos better. And on the flip side of it, just supporting. You know, I definitely appreciate all the support that you guys give to this channel and my social media platforms. And as I said before, if there's any topics that you have any questions on, you want me to do a short video on, leave it in the comments, leave it on my Instagram, or holler at me on Twitter. And until next time, stay safe. Peace.